Welcome to Leaders and Learners. My name is Tanya McKenzie, and you can find me at the intersection of public relations and leadership. Join us as we talk to organizational leaders, elected officials, experts, authors, artists, and personalities, sharing their stories, talking about how they got to where they are and how they continue to learn and lead the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Leaders and Learners, where we all know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. Today, we got a little bit of a special show because the holidays are coming up, and I want y'all to all learn something about, one, being single. Two, we're going to get into mental health a little bit. We all know that that's a hot topic right now. Chanel's going to get into being married, acting like you single. And we're just going to get more into the author. Jennifer Payne is here. Jennifer L. Payne. She is the author of I'm Single, I'm Not Sorry. I'm Single, Not Sorry. She's been doing some cool things with her books. The conversation that she has lit off, I've been in the room for a few, and let me tell you, it definitely leaves you thinking about your behavior, your perception. Chanel, the last time we had her on one of our other podcasts, she was getting started with some of the work that she was doing. We talk about dysfunctional relationships a lot, toxic relationships, healthy relationships. What I want you guys to do today is really dig in, ask questions. They can answer them live, or we can get back to you with some answers, but have an open mind and, lean into who you are, who you want to be. Maybe some people maybe you need to check on your strong friends. Maybe you need to check on your promiscuous friends. But after today, I promise you're going to want to check in with yourself and some other people. So without further ado, let's bring on Miss Nicole Scott and Miss Jennifer L. Payne. How are you ladies doing today? Miss Chanel, hi.
Hi, how are you? So good to see you again.
Yes, ma'am. So let the people know just a little bit about how you're doing and how this holiday season is treating you.
Wow, I am doing amazing. The holiday season is amazing. I was just expressing to you before the show, moving into a brand new home. Show is doing well on Fox Soul. It couldn't be better. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome. I appreciate you being here so much. Miss Jennifer L. Payne, yes. Let the people know how you're doing, how everything's going with your book, and how the holidays are treating you.
Everything is going great. I am on my way next week back home to Detroit to spend a few weeks with family. So that's always great. And the book is going surprisingly well. I shouldn't say surprisingly, but it's going very well. I mean, I think the surprising part of it is when you have men that get into it, you're like, well, I think I got a little bit of something here. So everything is great so far.
Awesome. Miss Chanel, tell the people a little bit about your show, your platform, CheMinistry, and why you even started. Wow. What is that about?
Okay, so I am the creator and the executive producer of CheMinistry, a relationship platform that you can now watch on the Fox Soul network. And essentially, I created the platform about 7 years ago. It was a live event, and I just wanted to have transparent, candid conversations about relationships. I had come through, I should say, a fair amount of failed relationships, and I was practicing abstinence or celibacy, whatever your word is of choice. I was doing that. And I was transitioning back into the dating scene, and I just wanted to understand the male perspective. I wanted to get some insight about what I'd done wrong. I wanted to understand why men think and do some of the things that they did wrong. And so I created the platform where we could have men and women debate it a little bit. And us women, we get to ask those difficult questions that we typically don't get to ask at the end of a relationship. Typically, when a relationship is coming to an end, things have gone awry, things are a little crazy, somebody has checked out, somebody has gotten ghosted, somebody's not responding. And so this is an opportunity to invite men in particular who could, speak to that particular topic, and we could just ask our questions, right, without the backlash of it all.
I love that. Now I'm going to go ahead and show the audience a little clip of the show so they can get familiar with the feel.
Okay.
Let me make something clear. Let me make something very, very clear. I don't know any black woman on this earth that does not enhance a man when she comes into contact with him.
Fact.
When she dates that
A
man,
word.
when she loves that man, she enhances everything that he does. And we never get the credit that we deserve for that.
Jesse Woo.
And so
Listen
I
there.
just want to get to a place where, as a black women's, I ain't got to do all that heavy lifting.
Facts.
And I can just be soft and be loved.
I love that.
Just
Absolutely.
for being
Soft
alive.
life. Absolutely.
Shout out to the
Okay,
women
guys,
with
so when
the
we
soft
come
life.
back from break, we'll continue the conversation on restoring broken trust.
It's my armpit.
I mean, girl, I get chills. I get chills. A couple things I want to reflect on. Okay. We have some educated Black women in this room.
Mm.
That comes with a weight in itself. We're not even talking about relationship.
Absolutely.
We're just talking about the who we are. Okay.
Mhm.
Lean into that a little bit for me and talk about, and both of you, kind of what that actually feels like as you're continuing to uplift the successful part. Because once you get there, you still have to do the stuff to
Mhm.
stay there,
Mhm.
right? And then the sacrifices you have to make to continue to be successful. Miss Chanel?
Mm.
Well, you know what? I'm still single, so I can speak to the whole idea of just being in relationship and being able to sustain it as an alpha female, right? So it could be so often when you're alpha and you're successful, you're told that you're too much or you're aggressive or tone it down, right? And so just trying to find the balance of being successful and then just finding the neutral space when you're engaging a man and knowing how to balance that relationship out and not necessarily overstep him, so to speak. It's important to connect with the right person. Right?
Mm.
Someone who you can respect, someone told me that the word is not submissive, but it's submitting. So someone who you are okay submitting to his leadership, right? As long as he is submitted to God, then you can submit to his leadership. So it has been, I think I'm finding that space in this particular season of my life, just being happy with who Chanel is, being content in my single season and not trying to adjust to other people, but just saying, hey, if you can't accept who I am and what I bring to the table, then maybe you're just not the right one for me. Right. But being open to connecting with a strong man who can receive and accept who I am, but me too, because it goes both ways, being able to submit. I like the word submissive. I don't have a problem personally with the word submissive as long as he is submitted, right, to someone. But just being able to do that. I'm tired of being tough. I'm tired, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be tough all the time. I've been tough all of my adult life. I want to be able to drop that thing at the doorstep. And when I come into my home, I want to be soft. I want to be a lady. I want to be cared for. I don't want to be the one running the show all the time. I get tired of that. So just trying to find that balance. But again, like I said, I'm still single, so I'm still working through that process. But that's what I've gleaned up until this point.
I hear that. Jen, what does being successful, what kind of weight does that come with? What kind of sacrifice does that come with?
Man. I've dealt with it from each direction. You know what I mean? Like there are some men who feel like, again, you do too much. You need to tone it down a bit, like she said, tone it down a bit and be more of the housewife. I've heard that term. And I was kind of jarred me a little bit going, wife, you haven't made me a wife, but okay, we it's each his own, but I've been told to tone it down. And then I've been also told that I act like a man. Being a single woman, I'm 44 and I've been hustling, so to speak, my whole life. So now as a man coming into my life, it's not so much that I need you, but I want you. And there's a difference. And I'm finding that a lot of men within their own insecurities, they truly need to feel needed. And I don't have a problem, making you feel needed, or in some aspects I may need you, but for me on right now, it's more of a want. So dealing with the level of success that a woman is at in her career by this time, and also trying to balance, a relationship that has its own needs and wants and desires. It can be very tough. I don't eliminate it and say that it's not possible. I totally feel it's possible. I totally feel like I'm optimistic. I know that I'm going to find, or not me going to find, that person is going to find me. That right person is going to find me. It's just taking a little more time, I guess. And it's okay. I'll wait.
But something, she said, the thing about it is when you tap into that purpose, right? Which all of us have done that. And when we are content with just us alone, before we even connect in relationship, I think it's something attractive about when we find that level of contentment. The Bible says that contentment is great gain. I think men, when you're not, I'll be so consumed with purpose. I don't even have, I want a relationship and I'll make the time to engage it, but I'm not going to sit around and mope and, and do all that. And I have found in this season, because I am so busy, just because, that men are noticing, men who never paid me attention before are noticing it in this season. And that is because I am content, being Chanel and doing what I need to do for Chanel and working in purpose, doing what I've been called to do, and not really focusing so much on what I don't have, but just being grateful for what I do have.
I love that. I'm gonna read something to you. One of my younger cousins, he posted something today, and he said, "Being submissive to a man is not about control. It's showing him that you trust him, his leadership, and his judgment." And I said, I don't disagree, but he better be dependable, equally loyal, and responsible as hell. And I think that's where the breakdown happens. They expect submissiveness or, loyalty and these qualities, but don't always deliver what you need in order to be that. Right. So then we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, well, do I supplement what he's not bringing because I want to be with him? Or do I just be by myself? Or are we in this relationship where there's a constant control struggle over some of the things that need to happen for us to have a functional relationship? It's almost like you have to sacrifice something, right, in order for this relationship to happen. What are you willing to sacrifice? I have to ask you, Chanel. I have to ask both of you, because I've seen your level of success. It is awe-inspiring, both of you. And I would love to know, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to be in a relationship? Because no relationship is perfect. And we all got to give. We got some give and take. What are you willing to sacrifice?
Well, first of all, we got to start with the whole encounter of how we enter into these relationships. We vet these relationships. I'm gonna tell you what I'm not going to do, and then I move into what I'm going to do. What I'm not going to do is dummy down, right? I'm not going to dummy down to fit somebody's mold of what they think I'm supposed to be. I am going to do exactly what God has called me to be and do, and I'm going to sit patient and wait for him to connect me with the man that he has for me. That man is not going to try and dim my light, right, or shut me up. He is going to come. We're going to come along. We're partners in this thing. So we're going to come together as a partnership, and I'm going to help build him up, and he's going to help build me up. Anytime a man is trying to hush you or dim your light or tell you you're not doing, he ain't it, first of all. He's not it. And I think a lot of times we get so impatient in these situationships, which is what I just discussed, because that's exactly what it is. We get so impatient because we don't want to wait. I too am in my 40s. I'm 48, 2 years from 50. But you know what? This is the most content I have been in my entire adult life. I just want to wait. I don't want to get 50 and then settle down with someone just to say I'm in a relationship, right? Because then I'm like, I want to live. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to spend my latter years with someone who's trying to hinder me from walking in my purpose. There is someone out there that's going to come alongside us, and we're going to do this. We're going to do destiny together. We're going to do purpose together. And if it doesn't look like that, it's not it. It's not it. We don't have to, like, it's compromise in any relationship. But I'm talking about at the beginning, when we walk through the door, you got to understand who I am, who God has made me, my purpose. And we need to be able to complement each other, because we're not complimenting and we can't be together anyway. It just
What about you, Jen? What are you willing to sacrifice?
Well, Tanya, you know, I'm an only child. So
spoiled off top.
Off the top.
It's like, here we go. You know, it's for me, and I am willing, but you know, I truly enjoy, and it was something that Chanel said, who I am right now. When I walk in that door sometimes from work, and I have all the burdens and everything I do from work in the outside world, and I come home and I grab some coffee or grab a glass of wine, and I'm able to sit on the couch by myself, and I don't hear anybody else in the house, and I'm able to exhale. That is just, I can't explain the feeling, just the exhale moment that I'm able to have alone. I love it. I enjoy it. Now, what I love to grow old with someone who shares the same things, who enjoys the same things that I love, like things like it's a requirement for me. When I meet a man now, I say, I love to travel. Do you? Because if you don't, you're going to be here by yourself all the time, because I'm going. It's like, we gotta get that understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting here because you don't want to go. Okay, bye. I'll see you back next week. You know what I mean? And so meeting someone where we have compatibility, and it doesn't have to be in everything, but just some of the big foundational things, that's us for me. So it's going to, what I'm willing to sacrifice, I'm willing to sacrifice my space. And when I do that, Tanya, you're going to be like, Jennifer, love that man. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm going to be a little messy right now, because Chanel can handle messy. I've seen it. And Jennifer's good at it. So we're about to do this real quick. I want you to talk a little bit more about your book, because I want the audience to see how Chanel handles these types of things. And I want you to tell the people what inspired you. Yes, I want you to talk about the messy. I want you to tell the audience what inspired this book. You don't have to go through all the details, big picture. And then I want feedback from Chanel on this situationship and moving past that, because I think as we're entering into the holiday season, people tend to be questioning themselves. What did I do? Is it me? Why am I sitting here by myself? I was good to him. What is this? Or vice versa. I've seen some men cry recently. Let's go ahead and let the people know, Jen.
First of all, I'm going to say some people are just crazy as hell.
Then there's that.
You know what I mean? But I started the book way before this psychotic situation happened. I started it because, like you said, let me go big picture. But I would run into friends and family, you know, especially family at family reunions. And they say, oh, Jennifer, because I only have one son. I made my son an only child too. I cursed him too. You're not going to have any more children. Who are you dating? When are you going to get married? And it's like, it's almost as if family and friends treat that as if I'm not complete, if I don't have a man by my side. And that drove me nuts. So that's what prompted me to even write out the title of this book. I'm single, comma, not sorry. The comma is important. And I started that before I got into this dating nightmare. And then I met this guy that, let me just fast forward, after about six and a half months of dating, he was a total, complete liar, psychopath. I mean, when I tell you lied about everything, he lied about his birth date. Okay. Like when I tell you everything, it just blows my mind.
You know, I'm looking at your face, Chanel.
So, but let me tell you this, Chanel. I got to tell you this.
Tell me.
He introduced me to his child. I'm just going to say child, his grown child. And me and his grown child still have a relationship. Okay. And that was hard for me, understand, because when I found out all the things that I found out about this man, I was like, you know what, everybody, bye. You know what I mean? But the grown child had grown an attachment somewhat to me. And there's a long story, like we have to talk about this offline. But so I maintained that relationship. And it's interesting because he reached out to me yesterday to see if I was okay. He knew I was recovering from COVID and he wanted to make sure if I was okay and if I needed anything.
The child.
The child.
Okay.
The child who's
Okay.
23.
Okay.
Needless to say, I was dating this guy and this guy was engaged the whole time we were dating.
What?
Engaged. Yeah. And got married the day after my birthday. But the whole week leading up to my birthday, serenaded me with gifts every day. Different gifts were being dropped off by UPS, FedEx, Amazon.
And we ain't talking about no cheap gifts.
Huh?
We ain't talking about no cheap
No,
gifts.
we ain't talking about gifts either. And then I found out the day after my birthday, because of course he let me know on my birthday. He sent me messages and talked to me, and you know, if I were there and this is what I would do, you know, if I was with you on your birthday. I talked to him on his wedding day. And so a few weeks after I find this out, I'm thinking like, what were you talking to me as you were walking down the aisle? I'm so confused, you know. It was a lot. I had gone into such a sunken place because I then started second guessing my own sanity, my own worth, my own, you should have seen this when this happened, and you should have known this when he said this and he did that and da da da. So I started second guessing everything, every decision I made and everything I said. Oh, well, maybe because when I said this and blah, 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 blah. It went from that to, no, you're an asshole. You're a psychopath. You're an effing liar. And I went into that book. I finished, that's when I started writing the book hard, and I finished it because I wanted, and I told the story in the book, but I wanted other women to know, like, it's okay. Sometimes we run into those types of people. We just do.
Classic narcissist, though. You know that, right? You know, I heard gaslighting, like you were gaslighting yourself when you second guessed yourself. It's classic narcissism and gaslighting, like textbook. Like you dodged a bullet, like the lying, the gifts. He was love bombing you. Like he just did it all in 1 week. Like he just overload.
Well, let me tell you,
coming out to look for houses to buy, like they was finna do the thing together. The whole thing.
He was delusional.
No,
I was delusional. So it was, you know what?
Well, he was lying to himself, because that's a huge commitment, unless he never intended on following through.
He never intended on following through.
Oh my God. So how did you find out though? That's what I want to know.
Tell her.
His son's social media.
What?
So let me tell you, so we went through this situation where I knew something was weird was happening, and I caught him on it. And that's when he supposedly broke up with me, right? Like, you know, went through this whole thing of, yeah, I did meet someone. I met someone, because when I first met you, you told me that you weren't really interested in getting married. And I said, I never said that. Like, we're having this discussion. I'm like, where is all this coming from? So he told me he met someone else and he met his queen and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, well, how did we get from a whole serenade of gifts and you wish how you could be here with me for my birthday to now you met your queen? Okay. And so then we stopped talking, and I'm like kind of heartbroken and devastated. A couple of weeks later, his son is sending me his portfolio. His son wants to be in production and he's asking me to help him. And I'm looking at his portfolio, where on his portfolio, he has a stream of his his Instagram to his website. And I'm looking at the pictures, and he only has like 3 or 4 pictures up. And I'm like, oh, they're so cute. And you know how on one post you can have a carousel of pictures. So I saw a picture and he has a tuxedo on. I was like, oh, look at him, all sharp. Then the next picture is a picture of he and his brother. And I'm like, oh, they're so cute. Then the next picture is a picture of his father with a white tuxedo jacket and a flower in it. I said, now, wait a minute. I ain't never been married, but that looked like a groom to me. So I called my girlfriend on the phone and I said, my girlfriend, she's married. And I said, ask your husband. Her husband was there. I said, please ask him, is this a groom? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me anything. I don't know, but just don't tell me this is a groom. So you have to know her husband, how funny this was. He's in the background. He go, yep, that's the groom right there. That's the groom. Yep. So found out by social media. So then my girlfriend went into Inspector Gadget mode because by then I'm devastated. And my girlfriend found out.
You forgot to tell her what happened, what he said happened to his wife.
Oh, so when I met him, he told me that his children's mother was deceased. Let me just give you that big picture right there. We're going to leave that right there. I found out a couple of months after we stopped talking that the wife is alive and living in LA and working around the corner from where I live.
What? Oh my God, he was what you call it?
I don't even know what
you call that. What's the word for it? It's on the tip of my tongue.
What?
Habitual?
Yeah, habitual liar. Like,
oh yeah.
He just lied for no reason.
No reason.
Said he found her on the floor.
Yeah. He gave a whole elaborate story about how he found her dead.
The son that I have a relationship with, the son found her on the floor. Now, wait a minute. Here was the kicker. And 22 years ago, I was diagnosed with an intracranial thrombosis, deep vein thrombosis in the brain, a blood clot in the brain. The doctors told my mother that I had 6 months and that maybe I was pregnant with my son at the time. And it's a possibility the baby won't make it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm talking to him and he said, yeah, my son, who I have the relationship with, he found his mom on the kitchen floor dead. She died from a blood clot. And so then I'm going, oh my God. So I'm sharing my story, right? We're sharing stories about the blood clots and medication. And, you know, I'm telling him about the medication, Levanox, that I had to take. And he's like, yeah, I worked on that drug and blah, blah, blah. Like, we're just like swapping these heartfelt stories. And I'm so sorry because this is what I went through. That woman ain't dead. She's alive, living down the street.
What?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, definitely. He has some type of mental illness for sure.
For sure.
Now, you have had some people on your show.
Compulsive liar. That's right, Dennis. Compulsive.
Bring it.
Compulsive liar. Absolutely.
How do you deal with these types of situations on the show? Because you get some of the messiest mess. And I want the crowd to know, because I hope they tune in and support, because no matter what kind of relationship you have, no matter what kind of relationship you're in, I always have great takeaways from the panels that you host. So kind of talk about what that would look like on your show.
If I had him as a guest or her,
pick.
Because if I had him, I'd be speechless. I'm sorry.
You would eat him up, though. You would eat him up.
And one of the things on my show, I typically do not beat up the men because this is their opportunity to speak their truth without being judged. But that's a lot. Jennifer, that is a lot. I would not be able to ride with this man. If anything, I would have to ask him, like, what made you, like, what's going on in your head that made you even create a whole new relationship, knowing you were in a relationship with someone else? You have a wedding date, sir. Do you not realize you have, at what point were you going to share this information? Or maybe he just liked Jennifer so much that he didn't know how to break it off. maybe he thought it was going to be just a plaything, and then she turned out to be this amazing woman, and he was selfish in it, and he just took advantage of the situation. I don't know, but he's definitely a coward, a narcissist. He's a compulsive liar. You definitely dodged a bullet. It's all about perspective when you look at those things. I know sometimes even knowing all that and having all the intel is still difficult because it hurts. Relational hurt is like no other hurt because you can't take a pill and make it go away. But if you just look at, okay, this was protection because this is what you would be building a life with. So now you would be entrusting this man with your finances, things of that nature that could really just ruin your life completely and totally. You were able to dodge that and not even have to, endure whatever that person. There is no envy there, honey. You can have him. Because this man is a hot mess. Have him. Have him.
And that's where it got to. Honestly, it really did. And that's what helped me to like close out this book, because it got to that point where I said, oh my gosh. And it's interesting. My mother said the same thing you said. She said, Jennifer, at the time when it was fresh, she said, I know that you don't want to hear this. I know that this probably doesn't even matter to you right now. She said, but you dodged the bullet. And she said, I really feel sorry for his wife.
Yes.
That is horrible. She said, my mother told me, she said, I'm going to tell you. She said, you probably don't want to hear this, but you're the only one.
Definitely.
Got others out there. She said, oh my God, I feel so sorry for that wife.
Because it's not just about the relational. It's about if you're going to do life with this person, this is who you are entrusting your life to make decisions involving your money, involving where you live, things of that nature. Could you imagine having someone in your life that he's telling you a lot? I mean, this could say you guys are buying a house. You thinking you're going through the whole house buying process, and this man has lied. And next thing you know, you would put your letter in, or you not sold the other house, and you don't even have nowhere to go because he done lied, and he don't want to tell you that it didn't work out or something. You just never know. That's what I think. Like this could impact you in a whole nother way, like in a whole, not just a broken heart, but a way that you couldn't recover in a couple months. You know what I'm saying? It could have been devastating. I know it was devastating from a relational and a heartbreak, but it could have been devastating in a whole nother way if this person was in your household. So I feel sorry for her as well, because this was definitely not his first time doing it. This is something that he does. He did it so well. He did it so well. He had no fear. Like, I would be afraid to, like, how far can you take a lie? You're getting married. Like, what you doing?
Yeah, it was definitely it was an eye opener. It was somewhat life changing. I had never experienced anything like that. Now, I've dealt with no good men. I mean, please, we take care of them. I've dealt with no good men. I've dealt with cheating men, but this was on a whole nother level.
A whole nother level. And when we're young, or I say kids, when we are in our 20s, we're not thinking about. Even though I bought my first house at 29, I mean, I didn't really care about that because I was doing me in that regard, but I just wanted to be with a guy who was cute. I didn't even care about his finances, so to speak. Yes, I did. I'm lying. But I lied. But it's just certain things that you don't hone in on. You're not really conscious of. You just expect certain things to be a certain type of way. When we get into our 40s, you got to break that stuff down. Like, you're like, okay, like, what is really going on over here? Because this could really impact my life and how I'm moving over here. You bring all of that, and then now, because then I'm gonna have an emotional attachment toward you. Then you're gonna pull me into your mess. Next thing you know, your hand gonna be in my pocket. And now, look, I got lost money messing with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's
money, opportunity, dignity,
yes.
self-respect.
Google. Look, you should have already been on social media. It should even took you time to see that. I would already know. I'd be on everybody's page. I'd be looking at likes. I'm like, okay. Listen, these people crazy. They be thinking I don't know. I be sitting there all Miss Innocent, like I don't know. I know everything about you, sir. You don't even know what I know. I know.
Look, I do a PR audit for all my clients. I'm like, y'all need to be doing PR audits for all of your dating situations.
Yeah,
Every single last one of them, all up in all their business before you decide
Laughing
you
about
bringing
that.
them inside your
baby
home.
mama, I'm trying to see. You say y'all not together. Let me see for myself, because I know she gonna post something. So let me see like what y'all really doing. I need to know, especially when they got young kids.
Don't forget to look up the police records.
Yes.
Look them up.
All that. All
Look
that. I
them up.
can't tell you how much stuff I find through hashtags. You know, nowadays, you know, you a hashtag your name, or somebody may hashtag your name and they post, hit the hashtag. It'll pull up all the pictures with that person in it. Everything. You like, oh my God. I caught somebody like that in real life. Like I really did. I said, that man told me, I don't know. He said he was going out of town, but he said he was going to see some friends. He was actually at a wedding and he took a date. And somebody else took the picture of them and the bride and groom and hashtagged his name because he was a basketball player. And I saw it. I saw the date on the picture. I said, oh my goodness, he lied. Screenshot it and kept it in my back pocket.
Gotta do it. So listen, as we roll into this holiday season and everybody's going to be in their new year, new you, people are still dealing with being gaslit, being alone for a while, not understanding why. And some people are pretty content with their situation, but we cannot ignore the fact that this time of year has the highest level of suicide. And we've seen it happen over and over again, and it's heartbreaking. So what do we say to our people out there that are watching, or our friends that have friends, about this season and being alone? Because I'm not gonna lie, I like being alone. Will take myself to the movies. I will take myself out to eat. I do not care. But I also have 4 kids and a husband. So alone time is not something. Alone time is not something I get.
You don't count.
I think, Tanya, I tell my friends, because I do have some friends, a couple of friends that come to mind right now, who this is going to be a hard time this week and next week, a really hard time for them. And I really encourage them to reach out to people. But I let them know, listen, you can reach out to me, or I've told one of my friends in particular, I'm coming over your house. I'm invading your space. I'm coming over because I know she's having a hard time, just to help her get through it. So I say that to people who are going through that. Please try to reach out, to people. And then to people who aren't, try to reach out to those friends who are isolated. It's just them, or just them and the dog, or whatever. Reach out to people and talk to them, or go knock on the door, invade their space. You know what I mean? Just those little things I've noticed over the last, especially since this is the holiday season, since Thanksgiving, those little things I've noticed have made such a big difference and made some of my friends smile, to know that, someone is there for them. Someone is just, are you okay? I'm just checking in with you. I did not call first. I'm just showing up on your doorstep. I want to make sure you're okay,
That is absolutely good. I would say create new memories, do something for yourself. If you don't want to travel during the holidays, maybe go on a staycation, go to a nice hotel in the city and do something for yourself. Buy yourself a gift. Y'all bought myself so many gifts for Christmas. Myself. I buy myself gifts, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go spend Christmas with my family. I bought them things because buying other people things make me happy. That's just my thing. I love to give. But just creating new memories, but not just for the holidays in general. We gotta start really people say, well, you know what, you got to find happiness within yourself, but we typically don't make that practical when we say it. Sound good, you got to be happy with yourself before you meet somebody else, but just really learning to tap into your purpose. I have found just in life in general that when you tap into your purpose and you know who you are and you know who you were created to be, you'll be so consumed with that you're not even caught up in the fact that you're single or that you're alone, or not to say you won't have moments, because you are human, you will have moments, but you won't have time to dwell and be depressed about it, because you're doing purpose, right? Whatever that thing is that you can do and never receive a paycheck, that's it. That's the starting point. And then hone in on that and then begin to build and develop that. You will find so much happiness when you tap into your purpose. It's important. It's important. I'm one of them type of people. I used to be depressed and sad on the holidays, on all days. I wanted to be in a relationship so bad. That's how I ended up with this show, right? Because I wanted to talk about it. I was consumed with it. Certain situations didn't work out for me. I'm 48 and I don't have any kids, and I've never been married, and I've never really had a healthy relationship. But in this season, I noticed I was on the phone talking to a gentleman not too long ago, and he's someone who I dated in the past, but we were hanging out. And I said, you know what, this is really not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I said, let me communicate that, because I want to make sure the space is clear for the right person. And in that moment of me communicating, because I saw him being very intentional about me, even though he did me dirty several years ago, but in this season, I don't know if it's the success or what it is, but he was being very intentional about me. And it hurt me to even have to communicate that, because I knew at one point I wanted what he seemed like he wanted. But when I went to feel sad, the phone rang, and it was something dealing with my show, I'm sure. And I completely forgot about whatever it was that I was feeling in that moment of being sad. It went away because I had to deal with what I was dealing with. And for the rest of the day, it really just escaped me. It wasn't until that night I was sitting on the couch reflecting on my day, and I realized, wow, I didn't have time to sit and be sad and cry about that, because I'm so consumed with my purpose that whatever it was that was trying to enter into my heart and then, get into my emotions, I didn't have time to entertain it, because I was focused on my purpose. So that is my message to anybody who is asking, like, how do you get out of this space? Like, how do you find happiness, contentment? Because, I used to think it was a cliche when people say, I'm good by myself, or I enjoy my singleness. I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe that was possible, but it really is possible. And coming from me, y'all got to know it's possible, because I'm the one who say, I don't believe it. I'll debate you all day and be like, no, everybody wants to be with someone. It's just, you want to be with a good person. You just don't want the foolishness. But no, you really can find contentment in being single, but you just got to know what makes you happy and focus on, like I said, what your God-given assignment is. And when you tap into that, you ain't gonna have time for all that other stuff. Not that you're not gonna be disappointed, but you'll be able to move forward and not dwell on it. So
something else to that too.
Go ahead, Jen.
The holiday season, for those who are struggling, I want to encourage them to stay off social media.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the one who just Twitch.
Yeah.
I've seen so many comments on social media, people saying, but they look so happy, but he looks so happy, but he looks so happy. And I'm like, listen, nobody is truly posting moments on social media where they're sobbing, where they're depressed. And I mean, I've seen some things, but you know what I mean? In contrast, see that. And I told this to my friend as well. I said, take a few weeks break from social media this season, because everyone posts their matching pajamas. It's funny. People are posting matching pajamas New Year's Eve and getting the divorce by January 15th. You know what I mean? I'm like, listen, I said, this is such a social media is entertainment, and for people to understand that. But I just want to encourage people to take a break from it, because I know that the highest level of depression is people watching social media and thinking that they have such a great insight into someone else's lives, and they have no idea what is actually going on behind closed doors. So then it makes them feel like they're not where they are. I should be here. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Look at this person. Look at that person. They look so happy. And it's like, no, you have no idea what just happened 2 hours ago before I got on this call. Like I was just telling Tanya, I mean, this is a little different, but I said, I just got out of the emergency room last night.
Mhm.
Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had such an ordeal the last almost 3 weeks. I was fighting COVID. I went into the emergency twice. I just got out last night. I didn't know if I was going to make it today. You know what I mean? But nobody knows that if they just were watching the show and they're like, oh, she's smiling. You know what I mean? Oh, my stomach actually hurts right now because it's medicine to tear me up. So, you know what I mean? I just want to encourage that.
Well, then, and to add what you're saying, for those who do have genuine, or have a good relationship, or they're in the season where they have met their person, we don't know what they've gone through
Or
to
going through.
that relationship. We don't know how many heartbreaks or how many sleepless nights. We don't know about any of that, because that's definitely going to be my story. People look at it, looks like, oh, you got that overnight, or even just like the success aspect of it, the show. People are like, oh, how did you get that? I've been working on this for 7 years. I ate off the dollar menu for this. You know what I'm saying? But people don't see that. They just see what the glory, what's happening now, the success now, but that didn't happen overnight. There
I
was
want to piggyback off of what you guys are saying. 2 things I think are important, especially during the times of the holidays. Don't text, call, right?
Yeah.
That could actually change the dynamic of the moment. Don't text, call. You got some time? We're on holiday. Pick up the phone. Hear their voice. Don't just get the text that says I'm fine. Hear their voice. That's your friend, that's your family member. You can hear when something's off. Don't be afraid to embrace that and have that conversation. And then the other thing, I think it's important. It happened during COVID. And I think a lot of people after the shutdown was so excited to be back out that they just really didn't reflect on who they are. Life circumstances changes us. I am not me. I've been married for 21 years. I'm not the same person that he married, nor is he. There comes a time where you have to sit and decide who you are. If you, like Miss Chanel has said over and over again, be purpose driven. Your purpose has probably changed from when you were 22 to when you were 35. And during COVID, a lot of people realized, I don't even like myself. I said that. I was like, I don't even like myself. Like, I don't even know who I am right now. This is crazy. I need a moment. I start going out to the beach and spending more time with me. Spend time with you. Don't be afraid of what that looks like, because that time also gives you opportunity to change what you don't like. You're the only person that can change you. One thing I learned about relationships, you can't change the next person, but you can change you. So even before you get into a relationship, especially if you're out there single, figure out what it is about you that you don't like, and don't be lying. Like, I am amazing. I'm great. I'm fucking amazing. No, you're single for a reason too. There are some things about us that we can self-reflect. Build the you that you are proud of. Build the you that you want to put in front of anybody and stand tall with that person. But sometimes it takes us being alone with ourselves to say, there's some things I do that I could be doing better. I have a procrastination problem. I got this blame thing. I haven't really. Be honest with you and spend time with you and get that together. Because when you're in those moments of silence, it's for a reason. Like, God does everything for a reason. You're there for a reason. You have an opportunity at that moment to build the you that you love. Spend time focusing on your purpose, right? And pick up the phone sometimes. We've gotten very automated. Don't be automated. Don't. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to just laugh with me today. But Jen, tell them about the book, where they can find it and how they can continue to follow and support you.
Yeah. I'm Single, Not Sorry. You can purchase it on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, online. Follow us on Instagram. I'm Single, Not Sorry. Facebook, I'm Single, Not Sorry. And I want to put this out there too. Some people have a misperception about the book. That they think that like it's a male bashing book, or I'm this woman and I don't need no man. No, it's I'm Single, Not Sorry. It tells the story of 5 best friends and things that they've, gone through, some good times, some great times, some not some great times. Ava, who's the main character in the book, does tell the story that I talked about a little earlier with Chanel about, Ava's situation, and how Ava was able to overcome that, and things that she did to make her get to that point of, you know what, I am single and I'm not sorry and I'm happy and I'm going to wait and I'm not going to settle. You know what I mean? I'm going to wait for what I rightfully deserve. And it's for me. I've had married people to read it and thoroughly enjoy it. I had someone say, wow, you took me back to my single days when I used to love hanging out with my girlfriends. And I never forget, this woman told me, she said, I got to call my girlfriends up. We got to go have a girls' night out. She said, just because I'm married doesn't mean I can't have girls' night out. And I said, you're right. So I want to encourage everyone to just pick up the book.
And it's pretty descriptive too. So if lacking some imagination, you ain't got to worry about it. Jen takes you there. Let's just say that. Michelle, let the people know about your show and how they can continue to follow and support and maybe even show up to one.
Okay, absolutely. Well, we have a new show, a new episode that'll be airing on December the 26th on Fox Soul at 10 p.m. You can find CheMinistry on Instagram at CheMinistry Live. You can find us on Twitter at CheMinistry. You can find us on Facebook at CheMinistry Live. And you can also find myself at Chanel Nicole Scott. You can also watch all the previous episodes if you just go to YouTube and search Fox Soul CheMinistry. All of our previous shows will jump right up, and then you can pick whatever topic you want to hear us talk about. If you want to be a part of the live studio audience, just look out for some of our promotional materials. We have a tentative date in January that we haven't released, but we took a break this month, and we'll be back at it in January of 2023.
I appreciate you guys so much. I hope that we stay in contact. Definitely, I'm a fan. And I love the work that you're doing. And I love the things that promote honesty and transparency and self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your ability, both of you, have the ability to shed light on real life situations that some people just don't know how to navigate out of. And it can be life-changing. And there's a word, sometimes it's a word or a sentence or a sentiment that you say and you put out there that just, it sparks a change in how people think, how they respond to some of these more toxic and unright situationships. So I want to thank you guys so much. And you know what? Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Thank you guys. So listen, y'all, make sure that you tune in to the show. Make sure that you get the book if you don't have it, and support the ladies and spend some time with you over the holidays. I really want to encourage that we take the time to just spend with us because you're worth it. You want somebody else to be with you and spend time with you. Hopefully you can spend some time with yourself, right? Okay. Well, again, I do the best I can to bring you people that help educate you, give you different ideas on how to handle some of life's more complex situations. And I can't say it enough. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share this episode with someone that I'm sure needs it. And I'm sure you know someone that needs it. So take the time. All right, guys, until next time.